Okay.
not doing anything.
So, what kinds of electronics did you use?
Electronics?
Electronic things, devices.
I think my mother had a transistor radio.
What's that?
She had an electric mixer,
Now Barbara put a
like we make with whipped cream with.
The first thing you said,
Oh,
what's
you're gonna
that?
wait till you
A
get
transistor radio?
Yeah, what's
You
a
never heard of a
transistor?
transistor radio?
kids don't know what transistor radio is.
Transistor radio was
You need to stand
about
up now?
this big, this thick.
Well, if
It had a little antenna you pulled
someone
out,
else is gonna use it.
and if you turned it on, you could carry it around and listen to radio stations.
On your head?
Had a little speaker on it.
On your head?
Transistors were the first real compact electronics. Before that, they had what was called power tubes. And all your radios and TVs were really big because they had to be big enough to hold the power tubes. The transistors were tiny little things.
Okay, so.
So somebody said, well, gee, if we got these
Upstairs on my
low
next
power
table.
transistors, let's make something that you can carry around and listen to radios with. So they made a transistor radio.
Which is where? In the drawer. Top left
I think I actually have one around here someplace, but who knows where now. Let's see, what other electronics did my mother have? She had a phonograph system. We had a TV that broke soon after the moon landing and didn't get fixed for 7 or 8 years.
Oh, no, no.
We didn't have a TV until we were 15. I was 16, 15,
Right.
14.
And none of us had
They broke when we were like
computers.
7 or 8.
I know, it's sad.
But I started playing with synthesizers when I was about your age.
Smiley faces and
You know what a synthesizer is?
No.
They
anybody,
make music.
no characters.
And I was playing with synthesizers and building my own synthesizers. In fact, I was building my own electronics when I was about your age. I used to get my mother to take me to Dean Electronics in Raynham to buy transistors so I could make my own stuff.
Cool.
Yeah,
Wow.
there you go.
I'll take a Band-Aid if you're giving them out.
My teacher told me
That on my
about how
shopping list next time.
you had
Ham,
to
macaroni,
adjust
Band-Aids.
Antenna?
the, yeah.
And in fact, some people had what was called rabbit ears, where they had to literally turn the antenna to get the signal.
He told me about that, and he was second youngest, and in their house, the youngest had to like hold it.
Hold the antenna?
Yeah, so he would be his younger brother would be standing there for like half
Amanda,
an
we
hour
had a
to
black
an
and
hour.
white television.
You know what?
So did I.
Black and white television.
You know, there's a
There wasn't
remote
such
where you can
thing
turn the
as-
channels and
Little
put up
drop
the,
down?
no, you had to walk up to it and turn a dial to change the channel. And you had to, huh?
What if you turned it to
Oh, that was the fun part. You had to then get it backwards.
Have you ever heard of an 8-track player? We had 8-track players later on in our house.
One for Band-Aids.
Yeah, electronics are much better today than they were back then. But you know what's interesting?
Barbara, you want
Phones like this, like the screens and information on them, or like iPads. Do you know that the guy who first thought up the idea,
Oh, yeah.
he thought it up in the 1940s, but it wasn't until like nearly 2000 before their electronics were small enough that you could actually do something like this.
Really?
Yeah, the guy who thought it up was, his name was Vannevar Bush, and he called it
that's it.
he called it the Neem pad.
He must have been a genius.
Yeah, he was a genius. Yeah, he
I thought he was crazy at the time.
he also worked on the creation of the atomic bomb.
Seasonal?
You learned about that in social studies class?
Yeah.
About how they like use that and people would.
Oh, I don't know. I've heard.
There was a man who survived. We saw a picture of him. He was working and
It's probably like
he was
9
working in like a factory for trucks. He hid under a truck, and when like the heat wave went by, it was hotter than the sun, and people were just like gone as fast as that.
Right.
And he survived.
Right, because he got blocked by the equipment. Yeah. Well, that's
He
what
hid
happened.
under a truck.
Just take all that
Any other
money
questions?
you have if you didn't take that.
Okay.